Okay, my name is Aaron, and today I'm going to be talking about Competency 3, Designing Effective Instruction for Middle School and High School Classrooms. The first aspect I'm going to talk about is creating long-range goals and plans. Teachers' success depends on developing long-range goals and plans. School districts want all their teachers to have the long-range goals and statements at the beginning of the semester. Your goal statement is required to be on file at the school. Goal statements change year to year based on curriculum, events, personal growth, and personal beliefs. Texas helps teachers with Texas Essential Knowledge and Skills, which is called TEX. Long-range plans divided into smaller thematic units is beneficial because it is impossible to teach everything in a subject area. Setting goals early will help you stay on track throughout the semester. It is important to ask yourself, can my goals be assessed? As a teacher, you will be constantly assessing students to see if they are reaching their goals. The state of Texas also assesses students with the TAX test. Students will not graduate if they do not pass the TAX test. It is important to prepare the students for the TAX test by using the Texas Essential Knowledge and Skills. Planning for the year allows the teacher to always be prepared. There are 5 steps to follow when planning for the year. Number 1, make a list of goals mandated by the state TEX. Number 2, add your own personal goals. Number 3, make a large calendar with all of the weeks of the school year. Number 4, write in school breaks and special events. Number 5, ask experienced teachers if there are any unlisted events that are planned throughout the semester. Throughout my teaching career, I plan on using these 5 steps to help me create effective lesson plans. The next aspect that I'm going to talk about are the daily goals and objectives. Your daily goals and objectives. This is what you get whenever you break down your long-term goals and objectives. It is important to have instructional alignment where all areas of the lesson support the pre-established goals. As a teacher, I will ask myself several questions to help me create these goals and objectives. These questions are my objectives clear, relevant, and age appropriate? Are my objectives responsive to my students' current knowledge? Are my objectives aligned with the district and state goals? And can my objectives be assessed? All of these components need to be met. It is important to create objectives that can be assessed. This will help the teacher measure the effectiveness of their lessons. Creating objectives will also help the teacher stay on track. It is important to consider the audience when designing objectives. Knowing the audience's skill level and knowledge will help the teacher design effective lessons and objectives. Good objectives are going to be measurable. Teachers can measure a student's behavioral performance to determine if the objective is met. It is also important for the teachers to consider the degree of proficiency for their objectives. Teachers need to consider how much a student should know in order to pass. Throughout my career as an educator, I will always focus on trying to make objectives that I can easily assess and measure. The last aspect that I'm going to discuss is creating relevant, meaningful, and age-appropriate goals and objectives. As a teacher, I will make my objectives relevant by relating the content to the need to learn the information and by relating the information to real-life events and ideas. It is important to present a rationale for learning the content. If students can see the importance of knowing the information, then they will be more willing to be engaged in the classroom. It is also important for the teachers to use interdisciplinary planning and integration. In the real world, many topics overlap. Teachers must be willing to cross over these old boundaries and make connections to other subjects. I can accomplish this by planning a lesson over the bubonic plague at the same time that the biology teacher is planning a lesson over microorganisms or the spread of diseases. Another way to make the lessons relevant is to touch on the community and the local culture. This is something that is going to change depending on where you live and depending on in what school district you are teaching. It is important for the teacher to understand the backgrounds and the experiences of their students. This goes for in school and outside of school. For an example, if I were living in a small community in West Texas and teaching in this small community in West Texas, then I should probably be prepared to discuss the history of Texas farmers and to discuss the history of the Texas oil industry. You can also work to relate information to the students depending on what they have going on at that time. You can look at technology. It's important to try and use YouTube videos. This is huge for the younger generation coming up. And it is also important to try and use different things like blogs and social networking. By using these different things, you can make the information more relevant to the students.